I wish she could just hear me out, or she just takes pleasure in making things hard for me. I just packed into this estate last week. Everything was going really well. I just kept running my normal daily life as a sales guy that works remotely. But things changed when I came out of my house one beautiful morning and my eye sighted this beautiful damsel with charming eyes. I couldn't take my eyes off while she kept running. It was obvious that running is part of her morning routine, but why haven't I seen her since the past 6 days I moved in here? Throughout the whole day, my thoughts was filled with the pictures of the beauty I witnessed earlier. I just couldn't help myself anymore. While I was in my thoughts, an idea struck me, and it was a very good one which I could work with. I went with this idea of joining her in her next run. So before it got late, I dashed out of my house and headed to the boutique to get my workout kits. Normally I don't do workouts, I don't just align with working out, but with the look of things, I needed to develop that love for working out because my crush does it. So I finally came back to the house so excited with my workout kits, super ready and changed for the next day. It was another beautiful day. I usually wake up by 9 a.m., but because I had to prepare and catch up with my crush, I woke up by 5 a.m. I finished preparing by 6 a.m. and then I waited for my crush to show up by 6:30 a.m. Luckily, she did show up and I just joined her. After 10 seconds of me just running with her, she turned and asked what the problem was with a very rude tone. Despite the tone of her voice, I stretched my hand out for a shake and I said, "I'm Matthew, a neighbor of yours. It's a pleasure meeting you." My hand was still left hanging after the little introduction I did. I knew she was not in for it, so I put down my hand, feeling a little bit embarrassed. What I heard next from her was, "What do you want?" I was about replying, but she interrupted, saying, "I know and I have seen your type, so please stay on your lane while I stay on mine." Before I could say something else, she continued running, leaving me at the back. I have never encountered someone as rude as her. After everything, I had no other option than going back home. While I was at home, something funny kept happening. I could not just get this rude girl out of my head. For the next 3 days, I tried to have a good conversation with her, but all my efforts failed. I kept on trying for the next 2 weeks, but I keep getting bad replies and insults. Yes, she was rude, but I knew something was not just right, because while she was rude, she was also bitter. Something happened while I was just coming out of the estate to go get something at the mall. On this cool windy Wednesday, I saw this beautiful rude crush of mine. She just alighted from the Uber that dropped her. Before I could know what was happening, she was hit by a car while crossing the road. Before I could also cross to the other side of the road, the driver that hit her quickly drove away. I quickly rushed out of my car to go help. The heat was so bad that she became unconscious. I was so confused for a moment, and I could feel my heart beating faster than ever. I just carried her and headed back to my car and drove to the hospital immediately and as fast as I could. I moved too fast that the police had to stop me, but with the present situation, I was allowed to go. I got to the hospital and I called the attention of the nurses, and my rude crush was rushed in immediately. About an hour later, I sighted the doctor coming out of the ward and I immediately rushed to him, asking him about her condition, and he said everything is fine, but it's just a matter of time. With the treatment that will be given to her, she will definitely recover fully in a few days' time. That was all I needed to hear. I was so happy to hear that. So I was allowed to go see her, but she was asleep when I entered. I stayed for a while and then left to get her something to eat. I could not get to my house, so I just bought food from a nearby eatery. By the time I came back, she was awake. Immediately she saw me, she slightly raised her body up from the bed, but I quickly laid her down and told her she needs to rest. She never focused on what I told her. She asked me what I was doing there. I started explaining to her how she got into an accident, how the driver drove immediately after knocking her down, and how I managed to get her to the hospital. She was about panicking about her health condition, but I told her not to worry. Everything is under control, and in a few days' time, she will be fully recovered. She was really grateful and she thanked me for helping her out. I gave her the food and I said, "Coming to think of it, I don't even know your name." She said her name is Bianca. I jokingly replied, "For the first time, I got a good and real answer from you." We both laughed. So for the remaining days that Bianca would be in the hospital, I stayed with her and we bonded more. We could even say we became best of friends. Bianca's time in the hospital was finally up. I drove her to her house and we had a very nice conversation. So I asked why she seemed so difficult earlier. She smiled and said it was my past. I replied, "Please, can I know your past?" She started talking. She said it was her ex. They dated for 6 years and they finally got engaged. Bianca's ex tried so many times for them to have sex, but she refused and kept on telling him marriage before sex. As time went on, Bianca started noticing some negative changes from her ex-boyfriend. He cheated on her with her best friend and he almost slept with her cousin sister, but he was exposed. Despite doing all this, he never saw his wrong. He's always making up new lies to cover up his cheating behavior. Bianca could not take it anymore and she had to break up. Her ex-boyfriend started playing the victim. When Bianca was fed up and wanted to end things immediately, he kept telling her she doesn't know who she's dealing with. After all the things he did for her, she still wants to break up with him. Bianca was so fed up with her ex-boyfriend's toxicity, insecurity and cheating attitude. So she left her 6 years relationship, not minding whatever he was saying. After she narrated the story to me, I felt so bad for her. I told her it's good she could open up to me and she should forget about the ugly past and focus on the beauty of the future. On a Saturday, I went out for shopping with Bianca. When we got to the store, she sighted her ex at the other end of the store shopping as well. She showed me this ex of hers and I flashed back to the accident. The guy that did the hit and run was Bianca's ex. I told Bianca about it when we left the store and she was about to call the police, but I held her back and told her to forget about it because there was no evidence. And besides, she's okay now. As time went on, Bianca and I became closer and felt more connected. I asked her out and she said yes to my proposal. We started dating, learned more about ourselves, and we never stopped making amazing memories. I hope you enjoyed the story. If so, please drop a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell so you'll be the first to watch the next video. See you on the next one.